All right, let's dive right into chunk one for the Declaration of Natural Rights. So, first, we're going to start by using our vocabulary resources. We're going to take those synonyms and plug them into the spaces accordingly, and we're going to give it a read. Okay, we hold these truths to be obvious that all men are created equal, that they are given by their God with certain rights that cannot be taken away, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay. So after you apply your vocabulary resources, you use your prior knowledge. So you think, are there any other words in here that I can substitute simpler terms or just different words? It helps you process the reading, right? The more synonyms that you can come up with, it tends to be helpful. So I found liberty. I know liberty means freedom. So I'm going to substitute freedom there. And for pursuit, I'm going to use chase. So pursuit is when you're chasing something. Okay. So I'm going to add those to my list. Now I need to look to these two pronouns that are in green text. Okay. So just like we did with the preamble, we have to use our historical knowledge sometimes to help us understand a text. So it says, we hold these truths to be obvious. Who is we? So let's think back. Who is the writer? The writer says we. So the writer is Jefferson. And we think back also to the preamble, we learned that, or we recalled that Jefferson is representing the colonists. They are the one people, right? So we know that we is the colonists and Jefferson. Okay. So now I'm going to put all of these resources together and to create a paraphrase. The only other piece that hasn't been addressed yet is they. And the way that I'm going to identify what they represents is just move backwards in the sentence. What is the last subject that was referenced? Men. So men can be they. You'll notice in the paraphrase that I put colonists slash men, and I only did that because the men of the colonists consider themselves in that category, right? So you can say colonists in that space, or you can say men. Okay, so let's take a read at our paraphrase. This is what we have so far. The colonists hold these truths to be obvious, that all men are created equal, that colonists are given by their God with certain rights that cannot be taken away, that among these are life, freedom, and the chase of happiness. So already it's starting to make more sense with all these synonyms. Okay. So far, these are the strategies we've used. You might notice that you're going to need some of these notes on your handout. So now's a good time to press pause to update your handout. Now that you've filled out those reading strategies that we've been using, you can move forward. Okay. So we have a paraphrase, but we want to build on that paraphrase by chunking out its meaning in pieces. So the first portion of the paraphrase or the text itself is referring to a belief. Okay. Colonists believe that all men are equal or the same. Okay. The second part in this paraphrase or the text talks about rights. Okay. God or the creator gives men rights that cannot be taken away, right? If you look at the original text, rights that cannot be taken away are unalienable rights. And the last portion just provides examples of what those rights are. What are examples of unalienable rights? Some examples of these rights are the right to be alive, enjoy freedom, and look for happiness. Okay. You might want to pause now also to make sure your handout is updated.